Name the island continent in the southern hemisphere. Valid point. Australia is true. The level of the seawater reigns the same everywhere. On track. True is the correct answer. The innermost layer of the Earth is called the dash. Good thinking. Core is the right answer. The shape of the Pacific Ocean is almost triangular. Correct. False is the right answer. Dakshin Gangotri is India's research station in Dash. Exactly. Antarctic makes sense, and it is right choice. The atmosphere extends up to the height of Dash kilometers. Smart move. 1600 is an accurate answer. The deepest point on Earth is located in Dash Ocean. Smart pick. Pacific is the correct choice. The Sahara, Kalahari, and Namib deserts are found in. Great job. Africa is the accurate answer. Dash Strait connects Pacific Ocean and Arctic Ocean. Good job. Your answer bearing works well here. The Mt. Everest is situated at the height of Dash UM. Well picked. 8848 is the correct answer. The research station of India in Antarctica is Dash. Perfect. Maitri is the correct choice. Which layer of the atmosphere do aeroplanes fly in? Well reasoned. Troposphere is the correct choice. Ozone protects us from harmful dash rays of the sun. You got it? Your choice UV rays is right. Which is the fourth largest continent in the world? Nicely done. South America is a solid answer. The coastline of Atlantic Ocean is highly indented. Solid response. True is a valid choice. The Drakensberg Mountains are located in Australia. Excellent choice. False is the right answer. Dash contains 90% of total air of the atmosphere. Nice selection. Troposphere is the correct and valid answer. Mount Everest is 80.48 meters high above sea level. You chose true, and it is correct. Q4, which is the highest layer of the atmosphere? Bravo! The exosphere is the answer. Which among the following mountain is the tallest? Strong choice. Mount Kea is the right answer. Antarctica is the known as White Continent or Dash. Right choice. Frozen continent is the best answer. There are dash main components of the environment. Nice work. You chose 3, and it is correct. The longest river the Nile flows through Australia. Right again. False is a valid answer. Dash is the busiest ocean for trade and commerce. You're right. Atlantic is the correct answer. The part of Earth consisting of solid is known as. Clear logic. Your choice lithosphere is sound and 100% true. Which is the longest mountain range in the world? Excellent. The Andes is a brilliant choice. Which water body does not surround North America? Sharp thinking. Indian Ocean is the right choice. Dash is the 6th largest continent in the world. Correct response. Europe is the most accurate answer. Which of the following is the smallest continent? Well done. Australia is the right choice. How many layers of atmosphere are there on Earth? Great thinking. 5 layers is the right choice. What % of the Earth is covered with water? You got it. Your choice 71 is right.
Dash is the second largest continent after Asia.
Correct response. Africa is the most accurate answer. What amount of fresh water is available on Earth? On track. 2.5% is the correct answer. Longest chain of volcanoes occur in which ocean? You chose Pacific Ocean. And it is correct.
Which continent is called the White Continent?
Well done. Antarctica is the right choice. Dash % of Earth's water is found in the oceans. Right again. 97 is a valid answer. How much nitrogen gas is there in the atmosphere? Clear logic. Your choice 78% is sound and 100% true. Name of the longest mountain ranges of the world. Excellent choice. Andes is the right answer. Dash is the longest mountain chain in the world. Valid point. Andes mountain ranges is true. 5 dash has the world's largest river, the Amazon. Exactly. South America makes sense and it is right choice. Eurasia consists of the following continents. Great thinking. Europe and Asia is the right choice. Which mountain range separate Asia from Europe? Bravo. The Urals is the answer. Which continent is known as the Dark Continent? Great job. None of these is the accurate answer.
The mountain ranges separating Europe from Asia.
Smart move. Ural is an accurate answer. All the oceans in the world are well connected. Perfect. True is the correct choice. The most important feature of South America is... Excellent. Andes Mountains is a brilliant choice. Which is smallest continent from the following? Sharp thinking. Australia is the right choice. A narrow zone which contains all forms of life. Solid response. Biosphere is a valid choice. The solid portion of the Earth is known as dash. You're right. The lithosphere is the correct answer. Which is the Earth consisting of solid portion? Smart pick. Lithosphere is the correct choice. Southern Ocean encircles the continent of dash. Nicely done. Antarctica is a solid answer. Which continent is called continent of science? Nice work. You chose Antarctica and it is correct. Mauna Kea, an undersea mountain, is located in... Right choice. Pacific Ocean is the best answer. The 2 main divisions of the Earth's surface. Nice selection. Continents and ocean basins is the correct and valid answer. Hydrosphere consists of water in all its forms. Correct. True is the right answer. What are the chief movements of ocean's waters? Strong choice. Waves, tides, ocean currents is the right answer. The highest mountain peak on the earth is dash. Good job. Your answer, Everest, works well here. The first woman to reach the Mount Everest dash.
Good thinking. Jonkotabe is the right answer.
Which ocean is between North America and Asia? Well reasoned. Pacific Ocean is the correct choice. There are several organisms that exist in dash. Well picked. Biosphere is the correct answer. Air moves from dash pressure to dash pressure. Well reasoned. High, low is the correct choice. The dash joins North America to South America. Nice selection. Isthmus of Panama is the correct and valid answer. Which is the most recognizable constellation? Right choice. Saptarishi is the best answer. Which one is not the layer of the atmosphere? You got it. Your choice, the biosphere, is right. Which are the main components of hydrosphere? Correct. Nitrogen is the right answer. Which among the following is not a continent? Great job. Eurasia is the accurate answer. Dash is the outermost layer of the atmosphere. Well done. Exosphere is the right choice. Which is larger in size, Europe or Antarctica? Smart move. Antarctica is an accurate answer. Why is the ocean water not fit for human use? Excellent. Salty is a brilliant choice. In which continent is the Dead Sea located? Good thinking. Asia is the right answer. Narrow strip of land joining two land masses. Excellent choice. Isthmus is the right answer. Percent of nitrogen is dash. Percent of oxygen is dash. Good job. Your answer, 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, works well here. Which domains of the Earth consists of gases? Bravo. Atmosphere is the answer. Which is the highest mountain range of world? Well picked. Himalayas is the correct answer. What joins North America and South America? Strong choice. Isthmus is the right answer. Which is the smallest continent of the world? Valid point. Australia is true. The South Pole lies in the continent of dash. Solid response. Antarctica is a valid choice. Which is highest mountain peak in the world? Exactly. Mount Everest makes sense and it is right choice. Which ocean has a highly indented coastline? On track. Atlantic Ocean is the correct answer. The solid portion of the Earth where we live. Perfect. Lithosphere is the correct choice. What are the four major landforms of the Earth? Correct response. Lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, biosphere is the most accurate answer. Which layer of the atmosphere do we live in? Right again. Troposphere is a valid answer. The world's largest hot desert is located in. Great thinking. Africa is the right choice. The narrow zone of contact where life exists. Sharp thinking. Biosphere is the right choice. Which gas is responsible for global warming? Clear logic. Your choice Q2 is sound and 100% true. Mount Kilimanjaro is a volcanic mountain in. You chose Africa, and it is correct. There are independent nations in Africa.
Nicely done. 50 is a solid answer.
The South Pole lies almost at the center of. Nice work. You chose Antarctica, and it is correct. Antarctica is surrounded by the Ocean. Smart pick. Southern is the correct choice. Is the world's longest mountain range. You're right. Andes is the correct answer. The Dash is the solid surface of the Earth. Great job. Lithosphere is the accurate answer. In which continent is the Maasai of Kenya? Solid response. Africa is a valid choice. The large land masses are known as the Clear logic. Your choice continents is sound and 100% true. Q3, which is the major constituent odd air? You chose nitrogen, and it is correct. Global warming is caused due to increase of. Nice selection. Carbon dioxide is the correct and valid answer. The greatest depth of Mariana Trench is
Correct. 122 is the right answer.
What is the name of the smallest continent? Right choice. Australia is the best answer. Europe is also called an island continent. Correct response. False is the most accurate answer. Name the strait between India and Sri Lanka. Good job. Your answer POC strait works well here. Which continent is the largest among these? Well reasoned. Africa is the correct choice. Encircles the continent of Antarctica. On track. Southern Ocean is the correct answer. There is of oxygen in the atmosphere. Great thinking. 21% is the right choice. The atmosphere extends up to kilometer. Nicely done. 1600 is a solid answer. The head of the Panchayat is called a Well done. Sarpanch is the right choice. Links South America and North America. Good thinking. Isthmus of Panama is the right answer. For what purpose magnetic compass is used? Excellent. For finding the directions is a brilliant choice. The passes through the Pacific Ocean. Excellent choice. International dateline is the right answer. Is not the components of hydrosphere. You're right. Rocks is the correct answer. Is also known as an island continent. Well picked. Australia is the correct answer. The three main components of the Earth are Bravo, meet, overlap and interact is the answer. Is the highest plateau in the world. You got it. Your choice Tibet Plateau is right. Which of these continents is the largest? Perfect. Asia is the correct choice. Which the highest mountain peak of Europe? Sharp thinking. Mount Elbrus is the right choice. The huge water bodies are known as Exactly. Oceans make sense, and it is right choice. The country surrounded by 3 oceans is. Nice work. You chose North America, and it is correct.
The third largest continent of the world. Right again. North America is a valid answer, i.e., it is world's longest mountain range.
Smart move. The Andes is an accurate answer.
The deepest point in the Pacific Ocean is
Valid point. Mariana Trench is true.
which ocean is in the form of a huge
Strong choice. Atlantic Ocean is the right answer. Percentage of fresh water on Earth is dash. Smart pick. 3% is the correct choice. What is the word hydrosphere composed of? Great thinking. Hydro water is the right choice. In which continent South Pole is located? Exactly. Antarctica makes sense and it is right choice. Europe is separated from Asia by the dash. Well reasoned. Ural Mountains is the correct choice. Ural Mountains lie to the dash of Europe. Good job. Your answer east works well here. Which longest river flows through Africa? You're right. The Nile is the correct answer. Which ocean is known for its coral reefs? Well done. Pacific Ocean is the right choice.
which is the coldest ocean of the world.
Nicely done. Arctic Ocean is a solid answer.
Mariana Trench is located in Dash Ocean.
You got it. Your choice Pacific is right. Andes mountain range is situated in Dash. Smart pick. South America is the correct choice. The Dashi Ocean is named after a country. On track? Indian is the correct answer.
Maitri and South Gangotri are Maren names of.
Correct response. Research stations is the most accurate answer. The deepest part of the Earth is the Dash. Clear logic. Your choice Mariana Trench is sound and 100% true.
The equator runs through Dash continent.
Correct? Africa is the right answer. Which ocean is the largest and deepest? Nice selection. Pacific Ocean is the correct and valid answer.
Where are the Amazon rainforests located?
Great job. South America is the accurate answer. Panchayat president is also called Dash. Excellent. Sarpanch is a brilliant choice. How many continents and ocean are there? Strong choice. 7-5 is the right answer. What is the percentage of land on Earth? Valid point. 29% is true. Which is the longest river in the world? Smart move. Nile is an accurate answer.
What is the amount of argon gas in air?
Good thinking. 0.8% is the right answer.
Q10. Which river flows through Africa?
Right again. The Nile is a valid answer. Dash is the largest river in the world. Well picked. Amazon is the correct answer. Dead Sea is located in which continent? Right choice. Asia is the best answer.
The first women to climb the Mount Everest.
You chose Jingo, and it is correct.
We are a part of which domain?
Excellent choice. Biosphere is the right answer. Dash is the world's largest hot desert.
Perfect. Sahara Desert is the correct choice.
Name the local body at the block level. Solid response. Panchayat Committee is a valid choice. In the Greek language, lithos means dash. Nice work. You chose stone, and it is correct. The largest and the longest rivers are. Bravo! Amazon and Nile is the answer. What is referred as the lungs of Earth? Sharp thinking. Amazon rainforests is the right choice. What are the two types of lithosphere? Solid response. Ocean basin and continents is a valid choice. The longest chain of mountains is dash. Strong choice. Andes Mountain is the right answer. Till where does the atmosphere extends? Nice work. You chose 1600 km, and it is correct. Dash is the deepest part of the Earth. You chose Mariana Trench, and it is correct. The atmosphere is primarily made up of. Valid point. Nitrogen is true. What percent of water is on the Earth? Sharp thinking. 71% is the right choice. Which of the following is not an ocean? You're right. Antarctica is the correct answer. How many continents are there on Earth? Smart move. 7 continents is an accurate answer. Oceanic crust belongs to which domain? Good thinking. None of these is the right answer. What is the percentage of fresh water? Nice selection. 2.5 is the correct and valid answer. Which is the second largest continent?
Right choice. Africa is the best answer.
India is presented in which continent? Bravo. Asia is the answer. Why do humans not use the ocean water? Correct response. Too salty is the most accurate answer. The uppermost part of the atmosphere. Perfect. Thermosphere is the correct choice. Which layer contains the ozone layer? Clear logic. Your choice stratosphere is sound and 100% true. The largest continent in the world is? Correct. Asia is the right answer. Africa is located to the west of Dash. Excellent choice. Suez Canal is the right answer. Which is the lowest part of the Earth? Well done. Dead Sea is the right choice. How much of Earth is covered in water? Smart pick. 2/3 is the correct choice. Land masses on the Earth form the dash. Nicely done. Lithosphere is a solid answer. About dash of water is in the oceans. On track, 71% is the correct answer. Hawke Strait is a strait dividing. Excellent. Sri Lanka and India is a brilliant choice. Dash is the highest peak of the Alps. You got it. Your choice Mount Blanc is right. Percentage of nitrogen in atmosphere. Great job. 78% is the accurate answer. Dash is a continent of high mountains. Well reasoned. Europe is the correct choice. How many major continents are there? Great thinking. 7 is the right choice.
Which is the southernmost continent?
Well picked. Antarctica is the correct answer.
The Amazon River basin is called Dash.
Right again. Jungles is a valid answer.
There are dash parts of lithosphere.
Exactly. 2 makes sense and it is right choice.
Dash Ocean has an indented coastline.
Good job. Your answer Atlantic works well here.
Kilimanjaro is an example of a dash.
Good thinking. Volcanic mountain is the right answer.
The sphere where life is possible is?
Correct response. None of these is the most accurate answer.
Dash is the largest animal on Earth.
Great job. Blue whale is the accurate answer.
Atlas map are drawn on a dash scale.
Exactly. Small makes sense, and it is right choice.
Pacific is the busiest ocean of all.
Well picked. False is the correct answer.
The Earth is covered by land is dash.
Nice work. You chose 29%, and it is correct.
Which is the largest continent? Dash.
You're right. Asia is the correct answer.
The Grand Canyon is on which river?
You chose River Colorado, and it is correct.
Which is not a sphere of the Earth?
Well reasoned. Mountains is the correct choice.
Air pressure decrease with altitude.
Great thinking. True is the right choice.
Which ocean is triangular in shape?
Right choice. Indian Ocean is the best answer.
The ocean's shaped like a lettuce.
Nicely done. Atlantic Oceans is a solid answer.
What is the domain of water called?
Strong choice. Hydrosphere is the right answer.
The smallest continent is Australia.
Right again. True is a valid answer.
Which is world's largest hot desert?
Smart move. Sahara Desert is an accurate answer.
Which is the world's largest river?
Good job. Your answer Amazon works well here.
The Grand Panchayat elected for Dash.
Sharp thinking. 5 years is the right choice.
The lithosphere also consists of a...
On track. Oceanic crust is the correct answer.
Which river passes through Africa?
Excellent choice. Nile is the right answer.
Dash is the world's longest river.
Solid response. Nile is a valid choice.
India and Sri Lanka are divided by...
Well done. Straight is the right choice.
Ural Mountains are located in Dash.
Valid point. Europe is true.
Where does the Mariana Trench lies?
Nice selection. Pacific Ocean is the correct and valid answer. Which gas is useful for breathing? Perfect. Oxygen is the correct choice.
Q7. Which is the largest in size?
Excellent. Pacific is a brilliant choice.
How many domains do the Earth have?
You got it. Your choice 4 is right.
The world's largest river is Ganga.
Correct. False is the right answer.
Unique animal kangaroo is found in.
Smart pick. Australia is the correct choice.
The gas that keeps the earth warm. Clear logic. Your choice carbon dioxide is sound and 100% true.
Lava plateau is rich in dash soil.
Bravo, black is the answer. Ayers Rock is in which continent? Strong choice. Australia is the right answer. Which map gives more information? Sharp thinking. Large-scale map is the right choice. On which planet is the life found? You're right. Earth is the correct answer.
What is the world's highest peak?
Excellent choice. Mount Everest is the right answer. How many oceans are there on Earth? Nicely done. 5 continents is a solid answer. Dash separates Africa from Europe. Smart pick. Strait of Gibraltar is the correct choice.
Yellow color is used for showing.
Perfect. Plateaus is the correct choice. Andes Mountains are found in dash. Nice selection. South America is the correct and valid answer. The huge water bodies are called. Right choice. Ocean basins is the best answer. Dasher Ocean is circular in shape. Well done. Pacific is the right choice. Great Barrier Reef is located in. Solid response. Australia is a valid choice. Dash Ocean is the busiest ocean. Smart move. Atlantic is an accurate answer. Northern Hemisphere is called as. You chose land hemisphere, and it is correct. The shape of the Indian Ocean is. Clear logic. Your choice triangular is sound and 100% true. Who is the president of village? Right again. Sarpanch is a valid answer. Which is the smallest continent? Correct response. Australia is the most accurate answer. It is called an island continent. Well picked. Australia is the correct answer. Name the world's largest desert. Valid point. Sahara is true. Europe and Asia are separated by. Correct. Ural Mountains is the right answer. One dash is the largest continent. Well reasoned. Asia is the correct choice. Permanent frozen river of river. Good thinking. Glaciers is the right answer. The Arctic Circle passes through. Excellent. All of these is a brilliant choice. Depth of Mariana Trench is dash. Bravo. Duler 22 Man is the answer. Name the world's longest river. Great job. Nile is the accurate answer. Which continent do you live on? On track. Asia is the correct answer. Dash is called the blue planet. You got it. Your choice Earth is right. Research stations in Antarctica. Exactly. Both A and B make sense, and it is right choice. The oceans are a major part of. Good job. Your answer, the hydrosphere, works well here. Gas is present in the atmosphere. Nice work. You chose all of these, and it is correct. The deepest point on the Earth? Great thinking. Mariana Trench is the right choice. In Greek word lithos means dash. You're right. Stone is the correct answer. Atlantic Ocean is dash-shaped. Good thinking. S is the right answer.
I've which ocean is shaped.
Exactly. The Atlantic Ocean makes sense and it is right choice. Dash passes through the Europe. Smart move. Arctic Circle is an accurate answer. What does hydrosphere contains? Correct response. None of these is the most accurate answer. Name the second largest ocean. You got it? Your choice Atlantic is right. What is lithos in lithosphere? Solid response. Rock is a valid choice. Mariana Trench is located in. Bravo! Pacific Ocean is the answer. Great Lakes are found in dash. Sharp thinking. North America is the right choice. World's largest river is dash. Excellent. Amazon is a brilliant choice. Large land masses are called.
Great job. Continents is the accurate answer.
Height of Mount Everest is dash. Well reasoned. 8. Adrian Fort 8 members is the correct choice. Capital of Australia is dash. Great thinking. Canberra is the right choice. The deepest part of the Earth. Clear logic. Your choice Mariana Trench is sound and 100% true. Which gas does plants need?
Smart pick. Carbon dioxide is the correct choice.
The river Yangtze flows in. You chose China, and it is correct. Which is the largest ocean? Good job. Your answer Pacific Ocean works well here. South Gangotri 2 names off. Nice selection. Research station is the correct and valid answer. Largest desert in the world. Strong choice. Sahara Desert is the right answer. Which is the longest river? Well done. Nile is the right choice. Antarctica is also known as. Well picked. Continent of Science is the correct answer. Where was Junko Tabei from? Right again. Japan is a valid answer. River Nile is found in dash. On track. Africa is the correct answer. Which is the busiest ocean? Perfect. Atlantic Ocean is the correct choice. Earth is mostly covered by. Correct. Water is the right answer. What is lithosphere about?
Right choice. Land is the best answer.
Which is the highest peak? Nice work. You chose Mount Everest, and it is correct. World longest mountains is. Valid point. Andes Mountain is true. Dash is the smallest ocean. Nicely done. Arctic is a solid answer. World's largest hot desert. Excellent choice. Sahara Desert is the right answer. Dash is the largest ocean. You're right. Pacific is the correct answer. Name this shaped ocean. Correct. Atlantic Ocean is the right answer. Name the island continent.
Right choice. Australia is the best answer.
Major part of hydrosphere.
Perfect. Oceans is the correct choice.
There are dash continents. Great thinking. 7 is the right choice. The S-shaped ocean is dash.
Sharp thinking. Atlantic is the right choice.
Life exists in this zone. Smart move. Biosphere is an accurate answer. Meteoroids are made up of. Right again. Pieces of rocks is a valid answer. Which is the blue planet? Nice work. You chose Earth, and it is correct. A scale is compulsory for.
Well done. A map is the right choice.
The main deserts are dash.
Exactly. All of above makes sense, and it is right choice.
How many oceans are there? Good job. Your answer 5 works well here.
Plateaus are rich in dash.
Smart pick. Minerals is the correct choice. Name the biggest desert. Correct response. Sahara Desert is the most accurate answer. The Earth's surface is. Nice selection. Not even is the correct and valid answer.
World's largest river.
Well picked. Amazon is the correct answer.
The world's largest river.
On track. River Amazon is the correct answer.
Nitrogen helps in dash.
Excellent. Growth of organism is a brilliant choice. This ocean is S-shaped. Bravo. Atlantic Ocean is the answer. Talk Strait is between.
Well reasoned. India and Sri Lanka is the correct choice.
There are dash oceans. You chose 4, and it is correct.
What does lithos mean? Solid response. Rock is a valid choice. The largest continent. Excellent choice. Asia is the right answer. World's largest ocean. Valid point. Pacific Ocean is true. The largest ocean is. Clear logic. Your choice Pacific Ocean is sound and 100% true. What is atmosphere?
Nicely done. Earth's blanket is a solid answer.
Largest hot desert. Strong choice. Sahara is the right answer. What is an ocean? Good thinking. Large body of water is the right answer. Largest ocean. You got it. Your choice Pacific is right. People means dash.
Great job. Below poverty line is the accurate answer.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Exactly. Contact Narayan Chengder on Facebook makes sense, and it is right choice.